Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to tackle schizophrenia, a condition that's really complex, often misunderstood, and, surrounded by a lot of stigma. Our goal here is to push past all that and get right to the science, using clear clinical insights. So, let's kick things off with a fact that is absolutely crucial to understand. Schizophrenia isn't something that's confined to any one group. Nope. It's a universal human condition. You find it in every culture, every race, and at every socioeconomic level, all across the globe. To really get a clear picture of this, we're going to walk through 5 key areas together. We'll start by defining what it is, then we'll dive into its different symptoms and how it affects thinking. After that, we'll look at how it's managed and, most importantly, the path to recovery.
Okay, so let's get right into it. What is schizophrenia, really? To truly get it, we first have to nail down a clear clinical definition.
So fundamentally, this is a disorder that impacts the very core of how a person thinks, feels, and interacts with reality. And listen, it's so important to clear up a huge myth right away. This is not a split personality. That's a common misunderstanding. It's much more like a fracturing of these essential mental functions. What's really fascinating is how early psychiatrists tried to get their heads around this illness. We're talking over a century ago. A doctor named Eugene Bloiler came up with these 4 A's you see here. They basically describe a withdrawal into one's own thoughts, a flat emotional response, jumbled up thinking, and a real inability to make decisions. Even today, this framework gives us some remarkable insight into what the experience is like. Okay, so building on that historical idea, let's explore one of the most important concepts for understanding schizophrenia today, and that's the difference between what we call positive and negative symptoms. It's a simple idea, but it's really powerful. Think of it like this. Positive symptoms add something to a person's experience, things like distorted perceptions. Negative symptoms, on the other hand, take something away, like the ability to express emotion or even just feel motivated. A perfect example of a positive symptom is a delusion. Now, this isn't just having a wrong idea. It's a deeply, deeply held belief that is absolutely fixed. It stays unshakable even when you present someone with crystal clear evidence that it isn't true. Delusions can really take all sorts of forms. Someone might believe they have superpowers or that a celebrity is secretly in love with them. But among all these different types, which one do you think poses the biggest, most immediate risk, but one that medical staff always have to address first? And the answer is persecutory delusions. The reason, plain and simple, is safety. If a person truly believes they're being tormented or that they're under attack, their actions can become defensive or even preemptive. And that's where there's a real risk of harm, either to themselves or to other people. All right, the other major positive symptom is a hallucination. This is a sensory experience. Seeing something, feeling something, or, and this is the most common one, hearing voices that just aren't there. But to the person experiencing it, it feels completely 100% real. Now let's flip over to the negative symptoms, which can be just as debilitating, really. Think about anhedonia, the inability to feel pleasure, or avolition, which is this profound lack of motivation. These symptoms can just strip away a person's drive and their ability to feel joy. And that can make even the simplest daily tasks feel totally impossible. But the illness isn't just about what's added or taken away from someone's experience. It also has this huge impact on cognitive function, the actual mechanics of how the brain processes information. So what this means is that the challenges go way beyond unusual beliefs or perceptions. We're talking about fundamental difficulties with thinking that can make everyday stuff like following a conversation, remembering a grocery list, or making a simple decision feel completely overwhelming. Okay, so if these are all the complex symptoms, how is the condition actually managed over time? What does that journey even look like? Well, the illness usually unfolds in a few phases. It often starts with what's called a prodromal period, where there are just these subtle changes. That can then lead into an acute phase, where symptoms are at their most severe. But, and this is so important, that is not the end of the story. With effective treatment, a person can move into stabilization and, crucially, begin a long-term journey of recovery. This shows us that managing schizophrenia is really a holistic effort. It always, always starts with the absolute priority of safety. From there, care expands to include medication, building a trusting therapeutic relationship, and promoting those essential self-care skills. So let's wrap up with the most important part of this whole story, the path forward. Because despite its severity, there's absolutely hope. This is so important. Recovery isn't just a possibility, it's the main goal of treatment. With consistent care, learning new coping skills, and having a strong support system, a high quality of life is an absolutely achievable outcome. This number right here, 2/3, it powerfully underscores why getting help early and keeping that care going is so vital. It represents the number of people who experience a shorter-term psychotic episode who will then later be diagnosed with schizophrenia. It tells us that this is a window where getting help early can make all the difference in the world for long-term outcomes.
So we're left with this question. Now that we have a clearer scientific understanding of what schizophrenia is and what it isn't, how can each of us help dismantle the social stigma that surrounds it? How can we be the ones to replace fear with facts?